Welcome to the welcome everyone to the SGBL podcast. I am here today with my co-host Adem
Ew.
and with the champions of the team tour of the Breaking Gems, Sirkill and Quin. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good, had a pretty good day. Pretty fun season overall, gotta say.
Woo! Oh man, I wanted to be so enthusiastic, but it's like 7:45 a.m. But yeah, I'm very happy to be back. I'm back.
Yeah, Sirkill, this is your second episode that we're doing with you, and Quin, this is your first episode. So quickly tell everyone at home who you are a little bit and a little bit about your draft journey and where you're at currently.
So I've been draft for almost a year, maybe a little bit more. I don't exactly remember when I started. I started in a random Smogon tournament that I did terribly on, and after that I went on to another league called LVL, where Adam was posting if anybody needed help, on which I DM'd him and I was like, hey, would you mind helping me with this match? And then from there, Adam and I started talking, and then they made SGBL, and now I am here. And nowadays, I really like playing Radical Red. It's my favorite format by far. We just had the team tour, which Sirkill and I won, which was very fun. Had a lot of fun, met a lot of new people. Very cool experience overall. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice,
it's
nice.
mhm.
No, I'm glad you mentioned how you came to me for help and everything, and that's how it started. That's how we met you essentially through LVL.
Basically, yeah.
I took you under my wing. I helped teach you everything about draft. Then your co-captain here, Sir Kill, started to steal you away from me.
Very, very
It was
selfish.
only it was called borrowing, but yeah.
Quinn has for everyone who doesn't know Quinn in the server already, Quinn has grown quite a lot as a battler, I would say, over the year. I remember when we started the server last February. Uh, One of the people I went to Aldim, I was like, "Hey, Aldim, who do you want to invite into the server? As we're trying to get players and everything." And I think the first name he said was you, Quinn. Funnily enough.
Yeah, it was.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I remember still SGBL Season 1, where I thought Regieleki was a good Pokemon. That did not go as well as planned.
I think that was also before the nerfs and everything for Regieleki, and we didn't really have that at that point. So that
Yeah,
was quite the surprise.
it definitely was.
So, guys, since we're talking about the team tour, Sir Kill, I think maybe you could kind of take over, talk a little bit, give everyone a little bit of the backstory of how our team tour did get started, and then get into your team a little bit, how you formed your partnership with Quinn, and a little bit of the sort of how things got rolling.
Okay, perfect. So a little someone called Mr. Robot for I mean Gojo. He was like, oh, I don't know how much I would go for in a team tour because like at that time, bigger tours like the Smogon DCL and Clash of Kings they were starting, right? And he's like, oh yeah, I don't know how much I'd go for in a team tour, and I think he was captaining in the PA.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, yo, I want a team tour and I want it right now, like right now. and I definitely wanted to do one for sure. Like I think I saw the server as a really good place because we had the people and we had a lot of like new faces who I felt would have actually enjoyed the whole team tour environment.
Uh-huh.
So then what happens is, and we were doing the whole Olympic tour as well. So
Uh-huh.
we found out that initially it was like we do the team tour after the Olympic tour, but then we see like the Olympic tour got pushed to like late October. Yeah, late October. So we're like, oh, I think we can squeeze one in. So we like got talking and then started. I think it. I think from like the idea to like the draft, it was like 2-3 weeks or something like
Yeah,
that.
that was a pretty fun.
We yeah, we had like So basically, I contacted my friends who are either their owners or their admins in the bigger tours. So I was like, so I asked my friend mainly Tiro. He's the owner of Clash of Kings, the APA tour. So I was like, "Yo, bro, I'm gonna be asking you a crap ton of questions for how does this rule work? How does this rule work?" So just like, and he's like one of the nicest people I've met. So he's like, "Yeah, sure, just ask me anything." So I wrote the rule sheet. I knew what the like for the base document. I knew what I wanted because I've been a part of a lot of the tours. So I'm like, "Yo, I want this, 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 this," and then Byram and the goat, the doctor, Matt, they just worked some magic, and we had like a beautiful doc ready by the end of it. Yeah, and then I was trying to what else? I think I did a bit of the tier listing as well. Mainly fixed a lot of the mid-tier draft.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then we had apps out. People got excited. They're like, "Yo, what is this? This is such a cool concept!" And then we had the captains, we had the auction, and yeah, I just the team tour started from there. As for how I got with Quinn, so initially I was like, okay, I didn't know if I wanted to be like a captain or if I wanted to be a player. So I was like, so I saw Quinn had put a post, right? He was like, "Oh yeah, if anybody wants to co-captain with me, so let me know." And I was very undecided, right? And then I think it was Byram is like, he's like just pinged us to. He's like, "Yo, you guys should be captains," and I'm like, okay, if I'm technically gonna be drafted as a player, most likely I'm gonna be doing like the captain's work for the team. So I'm just like that, right? I like helping around a lot and then making sure everything is going fine and all that stuff. So I'm like, okay, do you know Radical Red? I just messaged Quinn. I was like, "Yo, do you know Radical Red?" He's like, "Yeah, that's like by 4 by." I was like, "All right, bet, let's do it." So that's how we got together, and yeah, we formed our team. I think the team name was pretty simple. He was like, we're both like DNC, and we're like, okay, what's like some crystal joke we can roll around with? And then Quinn is like, oh wait, what about Breaking Bad but with breaking gems? And I was like, yo, I like where you're going with this. And then he like whipped up this logo in like 10 minutes. I was like, this logo is perfect. Just put like a ruined Metagross over there, the crystal version, and this logo is set. It didn't have the ruined Metagross. So yeah, that's how we got the team. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's freaking great. So Quinn, obviously you wanted to captain a team, and you and Sirkill ended up captaining a team together. What was your experience like? And you could get all the dirt out about how rough it was to deal with Sirkill, but how was that
Yeah.
experience being captain with him this season?
Honestly, it was pretty fun. Like it was pretty straightforward. Like we were pretty efficient at planning. Like in the first, like as soon as we decided to co-captain, we started looking at players. I think we did like a 1 hour or 1 hour and a half call discussing like what would be good picks for players. And when the actual auction started, we got on VC and started like laughing at some of the picks about how high or how low certain players went. And I'm not gonna mention any names here, but yeah, it was honestly a really really fun experience. Would definitely captain with Sirkill again.
And you guys are going to come back for the next team tour, from what I understand, next season. So whenever that, I think it's going to happen sometime in early summer or something like that. I think that's the plan right now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but we have
So
some time
yeah,
before that happens.
yeah, I think we got a lot of stuff planned out for the future of the league and everything. But staying on the tour, um, so guys, talk about like your season a little bit. You know, maybe how'd the early season go? How was it figuring out your team? You know, how was, a little bit of that, because you guys put in the extra. So part of the auction, for anyone who doesn't know, if both captains wanted to play in a week ever during the season, they were gonna have to start off with a smaller budget. This was to nerf if there was two really strong captains. and allow teams to use that extra money to get players if needed to pick up players in the auction. You guys decided to put in the extra 35K, I think it was, of the $110,000 budget, so both of you guys can play. And what was your plan during, once you got into the auction? What was like the biggest thing you were aiming for? And then how did the season go in terms of managing players and, obviously egos and stuff can be involved week to week. So talk about that.
So I remember basically when we got a call with
Yeah,
Sirkill.
I can.
Oh yeah, you can talk about it if you want.
Oh, go. You started though. You rolled the ball. I'll just add as you go.
All right. So basically, we got on call and we were like, okay, I know Red, you know Natdex. We definitely want an Insurgents player because neither of us know anything about Insurgents. And we're like, okay, so we know this player plays Insurgents, and then Sir Kill told me that one of his friends told him this player was really good at Insurgents, which ended up being Charlie. And we're
Yep.
like, okay, that's
The
definitely a
goat.
very good
The
first
goat.
pick. The goat for real. He carried Insurgents the entire season.
Yep.
Um,
Mm.
and then from that, we were like, okay, so we want another Red player that can help me and I can help them and like have someone to mock with that knows the format decently well. We want some really good and really strong national Netics players, and we want what else did we want? I think we mentioned we wanted
No,
one mid
it
tier.
was like no. So we're like we wanted like one person who just does mid tier because I did not want to play mid tier like at all, and that was the main focus. And we're like, okay, yeah, whoever we can get can just slot into net decks. Like that's not a problem. And
Right.
I wanted like a backup Uber's player. So that was the main gist of it.
Yeah.
So,
And then oh, go on. Sorry, yeah.
no, you can go.
No, no, I was gonna say that that was our general idea. So we looked at players. We're like, okay, yeah, if this person, we want it within this budget. If they go above that, like we just don't get them, and we look at other options. We definitely, I would say, like we didn't get like I don't even know like 95% of the players we actually wanted. We just ended up with a completely different team than what I thought. So which was like the fun part of team tours. You do not know who's gonna end up in your team.
Yep.
And I initially wanted to spend like for the minimum amount of players. So we had a range. So I think it was like how many was it? 6 to 8 players, if I remember. This is
Yep.
minus the captain. So I'm like, okay, I personally want 6 players, and then we roll with it. But what ended up happening was there we had like 20K budget, and we had like 4 picks left. I was like, okay, yeah, might as well just get like as many people as I can. Like no point getting like 2 people with like 20K budget left. So yeah, that ended up happening.
And what the funniest part is, those like min bids ended up like super carrying like our formats. Like for example, Cyril the goat ended up
Oh,
carrying
goat, goat.
mid tier. Emily ended up carrying Nat Dex. Like all of those pickups were super important.
Poplio carried up Ubers, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was so? Just continuing on, you got a bunch of diamonds in the rough. People, who weren't a lot of money on the auction. How was it managing, people week to week in terms of when you have a larger team like that? I could imagine it's a little bit difficult because people are not going to play as much as maybe they want. So how was that process, throughout the season for you guys? Was that difficult or, what were those challenges or how was running that?
I can go with that. So for that one, our initial game plan was like, okay, we definitely want to give people at least 3 games, 2 to 3 games. Like everyone was gonna get 2 to 3 games regardless. It's just that if it depended more on would we start 3-0 or 0-3, how we were gonna change the approach. And one big thing was I wanted like even if the players were not playing, I wanted them involved in team building and mocking, right? Because that's like really really important. And and we basically wanted to make sure that everyone's opinions were heard, because we were like we literally ping people like, oh yeah, what do you think of this, like specifically, right? Like,
Mhm.
oh, how do you think we should win this, how does this work? And then it makes people feel wanted, right? People feel they're still part of the whole thing, even if they're not, if even if they're on the bench the week. And I think that worked perfectly. We had like everyone was super active, everyone like pitched in with help. Everyone, people mocked a lot, and yeah, and mom wanted to make sure that our activity was very strong, because you could be the best team on paper, like by far the best team of paper, but if you don't have the activity, then your team will burn out by like week 5. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was my goal, is to like make sure that activity and team morale is like always high, all the time.
Yeah, I think you guys did a good job of that. Again, I was in them and I obviously had our bet. We picked up a few of the teams, and whoever did better in the season would, you know, win a little bet that we're going
Yep.
to reveal soon. But yeah, I think you guys, based on what I saw in the servers that I picked, you guys definitely had the most team activity week to week. There were a few other servers that had really good activities too, or activity also, but you guys were a notch above everyone that I noticed. And from what I heard overall, it was one of the things that separated you guys from everyone else. And I think that's why you ended up winning and it all. Which, speaking of, talk about the playoff run a little bit, because there were some super super competitive playoff series to win it all. It wasn't exactly a domination by you guys to win it.
Yeah, those games
uh
got very close at the end. Like, I remember we got against TSA and we were like, okay, so we should probably, because if you guys don't know, in playoffs, you get to select an extra format. And in those extra formats, in the first, we were up against United Blades of TSA. And we were like, okay, we have a decent matchup in Radical Red, but there's one matchup that we really don't like. So, and then there's mid tier, which mid tier we have like, pretty decent matchups in both. And so we decided to double up on mid tier, and we lost both. But that's besides the point. and and then luckily for us, we still ended up winning, and it came down to the last game. Sirkill did a play in his game, which was the last game for that playoff match, or that playoff face off between the two teams. That gave me a heart attack because I thought he threw the game, because I didn't know Samurai had Aquajet, and I
yeah.
legit got a mild heart attack, but it's fine. We made it out barely.
Bro, we started. We literally started 3-0. We're like, all right, guys, this is a comeback.
Yeah, like
Also,
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say one of those mid-tier losses was kind of my fault, because I gave Cyril, like, so I was like, okay, no way Yan Mega comes versus us. It doesn't make sense. So I gave him a Tauros that was adamant, not jolly. So, and it literally came down to like Yan Mega versus Tauros, where it outsped it, killed us.
Yeah, that one was tragic. I was like, oh hey, we got it, and then Jan Mega outsped, and I was like, bruh.
Yeah.
Sirkill was trying to throw there unintentionally.
It,
Oh
Decided
ma-
to
it
man,
made it
yeah.
to spice up the playoff series. We needed it to be a bit closer,
Uh,
you know.
yeah, I remember like battle chat, right? So basically we had this battle chat. It was like for other people to discuss about the game while the game is happening, and it's more of like, we were like, okay, we're not allowed to look at battle chat during the game. So I literally, like, I was scrolling up right through my game, and my matchup was not very good. That matchup, I was like on edge the whole time. I had to run like 4 resist berries in that game. It was that bad, because we didn't, when we were choosing the Uber's team, I didn't realize how big of a problem bundle was for my team. So Yeah, so I'm like scrolling through the chat, and the first message I see when I put the link is Emily literally goes, "Is that a motherfucking Torah cat?" And that's just like I laughed at that for like 2 minutes straight. That was like so funny. And then literally reading through it, I was like, "Yo, no way! Oh my god!" Like oh my god, did he throw? Like okay, yeah, GG. It was like no shit, he threw, and then yeah, it was so funny reading through that chat.
Everybody in the chat was having like a meltdown because we were like, "Dude, he just sacked Rayquaza for no reason. What?" And then he was like, "Okay, no, it's fine. He had priority this entire time. We're good. It's fine." He
Yeah.
could have discharged the 8 HP Coco, but he decided to hydro pump and
Bro,
almost.
I was Scarf, man. Come on. Also,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
hadn't terrored then, so like.
Still though,
Uh,
it was a oh my god.
It was
Yeah, that
definitely one
was
of
and,
the
and
bro. It was one.
oh yeah, we forgot the big silver game. Quinn, do you want to talk about that?
oh
Like the
right. So yeah, so basically our goat Charlie for Insurgents read time zones wrong. So he thought his game was like I think it was like 8 hours later than it actually was. So he wasn't online when his actual match was, and they were like, "Hey, so we need a player because he's not here, and if we didn't have a substitute player, it would have been a forfeit win, aka a 6-0 loss for us." And Silver Fox stepped up, and he was like, "I'll play." And he
it's
lost the game,
like
but he
I'm
did
on.
well, and he lost by 0-4, which ended up saving our like run because we won the week 3-3, aka they won 3 games, we won 3 games, and we won by differential by 1 point. Meaning, if Silver Fox had like didn't got one more differential point, or if he didn't just play at all, we would have lost that week.
Yeah, like straight up, like and you know what's funny? Silver Fox actually would have won. He made like one or two like very bad mistakes, but like that was his first Insurgents game, and he was like cooking Swaggy, and Swaggy is a pretty good Insurgents player. So it was so heartwarming to see. And but we're like, okay, at least you played the game much better than like just forfeit losing like a game. But yeah,
Yeah,
that was a massive lifesaver. Like holy crap! Like it also made it easier for me to like play my finals game because I was like, okay, if I just need to win rather than like me winning and worrying about differential. So yeah.
yeah.
Talk about one of the. That was definitely one of the, and both series in the first round were super hype, and the other series went down to the final. Same thing. I think both series were 3-2, and the
Yeah, yeah.
differential was the difference overall. It was 3-2 going to the final game, and you guys and Honorless ended up winning the final game and playing each other in the finals. Why not talk about your finals series?
So for
Uh,
the final series, funny enough, we asked a bunch of the people from the eliminated teams to join our team to help us prep. So we had a bunch of like we had Who join us, we had Swaggy join us, we had Hunky join us, like all these people from all the different
we had
teams.
Will, Glodja, and the goats were. We're like after the semis, right? We're like, ah, crap. The fish farm loss would have been cool to like have our revenge against him because we that was like the only series we lost, and it was like a very close week 1 win. And I'm like, wait, no, dude, we could just break those guys at our server. Let's go. And I just set like Who and Strip and invite like, yo guys, if you guys want to support us, that's our link and all that. We like assemble all the because it happens a lot in team tours where like if like a team gets eliminated, usually the players from one of the eliminated teams go and help like one of the playoff teams out. It's just like very good courtesy, and a lot of people in the wider team tour community are like really good friends. So that's just a norm, right? So I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. We can just invite people after their teams like not got eliminated, who we knew would be like cool with it. So yeah, we just like got a lot of people, and we had so much help going into the finals as well. Also,
I
like
think.
I had like yeah,
Oh
go
yeah,
on,
go
sorry.
ahead. Sorry, no, yeah,
No,
go ahead.
no, and then I got like even for the regular season, I got like two of my really good friends. So I got Jake to help with insurgents, because again, I'm not very good at insurgents, and he knew it decently well, so he like helped Charlie Mark here and there, and then my other really good friend Fatty, and he like helped so much in Ubers. Like he brought like some really good prep that actually helped us see, oh yeah, crap, our team can actually lose this way. So like those two especially at the starting were like massive for us. But yeah, go on, sorry.
No, yeah, I was just gonna mention, like, in the last round versus honorless, like, I think I single handedly did like 8 mocks, and each mock I learned something different from the matchup. So like the first mock, I was like, okay, this team works. And then I mocked it again, and I was like, okay, actually, I lose to this Pokemon. Okay, I should probably change this to this resist berry, change this to this item. And then I mocked who, and I realized, oh, I'm gonna get 6-0'd by Excalibur, so I'm just gonna completely revamp the team. And then
No,
I
no,
mocked after that again.
you're gonna get cooked by like itemless Milotic.
Yeah, itemless Milotic was such a pain, but it was on a as weird as it seems, it was actually like a really good play to stop Poltergeist. And then after that, I mocked again with Sirkill just to finalize the build, and I ended up going back to the Goat Shift Tree, which ended up winning me that game.
Oh man, Shiftry was so good. Holy crap.
That's
Very
always fun.
undervalued pick. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was even just red, but like all the formats had like 5 mocks at least. Basically, everybody was mocking everybody, and it was a very fun time.
Yeah. No, literally looked at like every small detail. Okay, like how can we lose to this? Yo, bring this set to this game. I want to see how this mon plays versus that.
Mhm.
And then I would literally be in voice chat like, yo, like, okay, this is a big problem. We should change this. And then we ended up going with the like such a cheese doy where we're like, okay, let's go like DD storage, Shadowclaw Roost, and then put Scopelets and like roll the dice. Because that was literally like the only way we saw to beat like itemless Biolotic at that point.
Yeah.
We cooked hard. Like this tour, we brought some really good like sets. I think we could talk about them in a bit, but yeah, that was like one of the sets. We're like, okay, if we get a DD, those two, that stab combination is like very difficult to defend against. But yeah, go on. Sorry, yeah, Quinn.
Oh no, that was all I wanted to say basically.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, that final series was like very close. It again came down to like 3-2 with like the winner basically like just taking the whole game away. We could have won that within like the first 3 games, but like the dice rolls ended up not being very nice, and we lost like 20% rolls to like get our 2 losses, and then laughs through like one of the. I don't want to say through, but he didn't play that game optimally. So we're like literally on the back foot. But then we had some like absolute huge wins, like Quin like 6-0. Was it Fried? It was Fried, right?
Yeah, it was fried.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like Quin 6-0 Fried, and like Emily 6-0 AZ. So like we were like ahead differential wise, but like they were ahead games wise. So like yeah, it was a very nervous final. I literally was like, dude, I literally messaged Byram. I was like, dude, I don't think I can watch the final. I don't think it's good for my mental being. Like literally.
Dude, you should
Oh, the
have been
funny.
there. Basically, that game was so hype for the single fact that it was basically decided on turn 1, because
Mhm.
it was lead Koraidon versus lead Groudon, and Koraidon just CC'd and Groudon didn't do anything. So he had a
A bit
chipped
of
Groudon
back,
that couldn't do
yeah,
anything, and it was over from
yeah,
there basically because Koraidon is a
yeah,
monster.
yeah. A bit of context. So basically, like I mocked Poplio. I was like, okay, I'll make 2 pastes. One of them is like a balanced team, and one is more like a super hyper offensive team. So the balanced team just got destroyed by Koraidon. Like I had like no counterplay against it. I was like, okay, bet I'm just gonna bring this. I think I brought like Spadef, Green Soul Galio into Clear Amulet, Double Dance Groudon, and I'm like, okay, this is like literally the only set I see that they can bring that can actually win us the game. And like I brought that set, and like that just like 6-0 Poplio like right there. Like that set
Yeah.
had like very few answers. So I were like, dude, this Groudon, it can be a massive problem. We need to put Skrill's Goldengo on our team, and we need to set Landorus before they
Mhm.
set up their Groudon, because we knew that if we set up Landorus before Groudon, we can like force through the Groudon, if you will. So I'm like probably like making that change, like putting screens Goldengo, like changing a few EVs here and there. And what was the other thing we did? That was the only thing, right? We got screens Goldengo. Oh yeah, and him CCing turn one. So he literally like denied Groudon like any sort of setup. They were like Sword Dance Adrenaline Orb for the Lando Intimidate, but it was like that was like just a chipped Groudon for the rest of the game, and we had like Scarf Coridon, which was like very very good versus their team.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
yeah.
broken one.
Fair and balanced. Trust.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. We'll allow Terra on it next time we do Ubers.
Yep.
Yes.
But so funny enough, Quinn, I sent you guys the what I sent something to Sir Quill after that Sirkill after that finals game ended. I sent one of the funniest DMs I think of all time to him. I sent him the replay, and I wrote to him. I was like, "Hey, at least you guys played this game as hard as possible, and you went down swing." I forgot exactly how I were. Oh my goodness, I should. Oh, I really want to find it, dude.
See, I was that time I was sleeping. Okay,
I
so
know you
it
were
was
sleeping,
good. I was good. I was sleeping then, but yeah.
dude. It was one. I'm gonna find this because this was one of the. Oh, I sent him the replay. I said you will watch it, but here was Poplio versus Steering. If you do not know the results yet, at least it was a good game, and that's all I said to him.
And then no context, just like, oh my
No other
god, what happened?
context, dude. It's almost like the context of the sentence. If you just read it very like monotone or straightforward, you'd be like, oh, okay, who knows what happened. But the way it was worded, I was like so happy with how I worded it because I was like, yes, this is like teasing that you guys lost the game, and Sir Kill was too scared to ever watch the game live. So I was like, this is perfect because he was sleeping when the game randomly happened because they could not seem to get a date down. It was like very odd. And then all of a sudden, it
Yeah.
was like one night, it was finally Steering kept just asking randomly, "You want to just do it right now? You want to just do it right now?" And this
Yeah,
one
probably
random
like
night,
fuck it.
Papa
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, let's do it right now." They just played.
Yeah. Oh man, like you guys do not know the amount of heartbreak, like especially the Cyril game that like broke me because we mocked so much. Like like literally like we went through every possible sequence. We're like, okay, if this happens, what do we want to do? If this happens, we like mocked so hard because that matchup like was not very in our favor. Like it was a bit better of a matchup than our other team, but it was still not like overall good, and he cooked me. Like in mocks, he like destroyed me every game, and he was like so close to beating GGS in that game. Like he was like a turn away basically, and that was so heartwarming to see. I was like, oh my god, we won. You know, I was like, I'm stepping, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and then the strategist like, ah! Just like
Dude, it
random, and then
was
oh man, I got so angry after that game. I was like, no, I can't watch that game. I can't watch the finals game. It's too much for me.
yeah, you guys had a couple. It was literally you guys going either winning 6-0 in the first couple wins that you had to
Yeah.
just barely losing every other game. And
Hmm.
because you guys were down 3-2 going into the final game with a plus like 8 differential. I think you lost the other two games 1-0, or you lost like a
Yeah.
bunch of games like 1-0 or something, and it was just like, wow, this is this is like so rough going into this final game. But you guys pulled it out. So Quinn, this was your first team tour, right?
Yes, sir, it was.
What do you think was the best? What do you think are like the pros and maybe even I'd say what do you think? What did you like about the team tour? And maybe afterwards talk about what you did not like as much or whether it was within the way we formatted things for what we can do better in the future too. But first talk about what you enjoyed.
So I really liked like the team aspect of it, right? Like I got to talk to a lot of people that I hadn't talked to, even though most of the people in my team I already knew. It was fun like getting to know more people. It was fun like strategizing and making teams. Like the draft process was very fun because we had
Mhm.
like a channel for each format, and we were like discussing, okay, this could be a good pick, this could be a good pick. Oh, maybe try this angle. Actually, this triple moon actually was pretty hard, and we went back and forth, and that was super fun. I think the formats were also really cool, having all the
Yeah.
different options. I
Mhm.
think
It was-
honestly the biggest sad was not having 20-point Rad Red Pokemon. I get why, because 20 pointers in Radical Red are insane, but having 18 pointers, it was very clear cut who were the good Pokemon. Like in my eyes, the only two Pokemon that were worth it in that entire board for a round one pick were Mega Duraludon and Delphox,
and we
and
got
everything
both
else
of
was
them.
like, yeah, and we got both of them. That
Dude,
was
we cooked so hard at Red Red. I think we spent like 3 hours in call total for both of our teams. Because I was like learning the format, right? So like Quinn was like teaching me, okay, yeah, this move does this does this mon does this mon does this. And we're like, okay, what if we try this? What if we try that? And our Red Red teams were like uber cracked. Like I loved both our Red Red teams. Oh
yeah,
my god.
they cooked all season, like all throughout the season. We were like, okay, this matchup was like all of our matchups felt winnable for us, and I'm
Yeah,
pretty
there was
sure
we
we
had
went
an
on the
out here and there. Yeah, yeah. Go on,
no.
sorry,
Yeah,
what did you say?
I was just gonna say that we went undefeated for Radical Red, but that's about it. What were you gonna say?
No, I mean, I was gonna, yeah, like I said, there was a way we had around matchups with both the teams. Like, okay, even if we bring two, they bring one, we can still win this using like I don't know DD Sevi Neumann, for example, right? Um, also, yeah, I mean, we almost had a perfect. I mean, in the in the regular season, our Red Red went like undefeated, so that was so hype. That was so cool to see.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, and also I innovated Sevi Mantine. Let's go. Like brought them on, like showed how stupid that mon is. Like people like, oh yeah, poison electric 4 times weak and all that stuff. But then I was like, yo, wait, this guy mon gets static. This mon gets storm drain. This mon has actually got good coverage. Yo, this mon is a good flying resist. It like if you see right, like technically, the Sevi Mantine walls like a lot of the top picks. So like it walls Torrentee, it walls Coco, it walls Zeraora. And I can name like a lot of the top ones. It just hard walls. Like it just stops like right there, and then because it has like such a strong stat distribution. Um, and that mon, oh my god, that mon carried this so hard as well. And then we like abused like 9 point Mega Lapras and like 9 point Zip Striker Sevi. So yeah, those was like went in so hard. I like it was so cool just showcasing people like, oh yeah, these are mons that actually do stuff like really cool stuff. It was a shame we couldn't bring Lilligant because I saw it at like Seed Flare Power Gym and I was like, yo, like Quiverdan Seed Flare Power Gym actually can 6 like teams right there. But I just couldn't find matchups for it. So yeah.
yeah. It was unfortunate we couldn't find an opening for that, but yeah, that both of the teams are insanely good. Like definitely our Stevie Mantine, Delphox, and that team was a lot better than the other one, but they were both
Yeah.
super 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 stacked. And then I think back to the team tour, like and its formatting, uh, like the different formats were great. Team sizes were great. I think maybe something we could try next season is like adding one extra game, or like kind of how we did playoffs, but maybe even just have both teams choose an extra format for the fun of it, so we get extra games for each format each week. And yeah, overall it was good as it is, but those slight optimizations would make it even better.
Hmm. Yeah, no, nice. I honestly hearing you guys go on and on about it, you could tell you guys really enjoyed the team tour and everything. And next time we do this, I know we probably are going to try and make it so the amount of battles done will be an odd number, just to avoid tiebreakers. I think that was one thing I was thinking of, at least on our end.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, but yeah. But so to continue moving forward about you two as a duo, we are starting a Rad Red Duos draft that we
Yep.
just finished drafting for here in this league.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys
Yep.
decided to team up once again to continue your Breaking Gems love. And I was gonna say, so you guys drafted a team there, and then you butchered half the team. But what are some mods you guys are excited to use now in your final version of your team?
You go
So
on, Quinn. Yeah.
okay, I can explain it. So basically, the first thing we saw at the board, we were like, okay, please make it to us, Meloetta Pirouette. 3 picks in, it's gone. We're like, okay, well, there goes my hopes and dreams of getting that Pokemon again. What else could we do for this? And then we're like, oh, it got to us, and we're like, oh, Chandelure and Audino Mega is up. That's that sounds like a disgusting core, because Audino Mega, if you don't know, gets Regenerator now, and teleport. Like, you switch into something, you teleport into Chandelure, and with Shadow Tag, you just trap something and kill it. And then we drafted an entire team after that, which we ended up dropping. Like, so we drafted Silvally, and we ended up dropping it because we couldn't fit it. And we ended up with Chandelure, Audino Mega, Flygon, Meowscarada, Avalok, Hisui, Starmie, Probopass, and Swalot, which I gotta say is a very, very good team. Definitely very fun. This is gonna be very fun to pilot.
I mean, I'll dim. These guys, I mean, we're not in their pool, but I think we could talk about one of this team's weaknesses. Not their specific team that they drafted, but the weakness of the Breaking Gems coming back together is they've never faced the greatest brothers tag team champions of the world, Phil and Gibble brother duo.
Exactly. They're not ready
True.
for Field Gibble picnic duo.
It's
We
gonna be a hype match for sure.
So if we both
Yep.
get into the playoffs of the pool after pools, and we're going to be number one, and you guys are going to be number one, and then we're going to play each other ideally in the playoffs at some point. I'm just letting you know from now, we're smoking you guys.
No,
Let's see in semis. Let's see.
exactly. We'll see then.
Adam, do you have our team in front of us?
I don't even need to think about our team. It's you know what
Oh,
the problem is?
uh,
They're saying we'll see you in semis. They're that bad that they're gonna have to play a first round game.
that
We're
is
gonna be
very
on a
true.
bye and not even be thinking about things while they're gonna be struggling to make the
I mean
playoffs.
the overall semis. Not the.
Maybe you
I
guys are
like.
the ones in the buy. Maybe you guys are the ones struggling in the first round,
Ooh.
and we're in the buy round.
Yep.
We're gonna struggle. The greatest duo ever. By the way, we've been doing duos drafts for seasons now.
Yeah,
We have this experience together. We're the best duo brother team of all time. That's what everyone says. Everyone knows it.
yeah.
And our team, Mega Aerodactyl, which for those who don't know, obviously it gets tough claws like it normally does. They gave it a little move called Brave Bird. They gave it a little move called Headlong Rush. Oh, and we have Tapu Fini behind it, who has Flip Turn. We have the strongest and best fire ghost type in draft, Blacephalon. We have Dekadui Hisui with
Mhm.
that quill rush. We have the greatest bug fairy type that's ever existed, Adim's girl, Rabombe. We have Flustle, the best 2-point electric type of all time in draft. Stunfisk Galler with Iron Barbs and Filter. And Adim, please say the final guy.
The final guy on our team.
Come on, tell them. Tell them what they're gonna have to mess with.
Are
The
you
funny
sure? I
Gus
don't know.
man.
They're not
Oh,
ready for this. They're not.
no.
They don't realize the strength, the power, the might, the will that this mon will force upon. How it will drain the life out of its enemies, using its
Absolutely.
aura of darkness that it brings out. No one is ready for the Lord of Love, Guzzlord himself.
Gus
Absolutely.
Lord.
The greatest or Dragon Dark type in draft. It's gonna be so our team, and look, we have Red experience. Look, Quinn, you just started playing Red yesterday. You're okay at it, I guess. Them and me have way more experience than you. We are much better at this format than you are. We have done
Only
things
when
in
6-0 in the
Look.
team tour.
Hear me out. Besides the team tour, Gen 9 is an entirely different format from Gen 8 Round Red, because so many mods that already existed changed. So, there might be a few things here and there that are similar, but we both technically started playing Gen 9 Red at the same time.
I mean, that you could say that, but we just have the experience. We know how these mons work. We understand how they function. We're a better team. Like, you guys are a decent team. You have a chance. Oh, you want a team to where they get to rely on 6 to 8 other people for. Them and I have been winning games for years now together. So I don't know how you guys are supposed to. I don't know how this is going to work out for you. Hopefully you guys win your first round playoff game if you get there. We'll have the first round bye. I already know that. I'm not. There's no doubt about that, right, Abdum?
Obviously, I mean, my record right now in our most recent duos draft, I was 6-0 with like a plus 27 differential.
And yeah, oh god.
Yeah, I was.
Pretty much, guys. Let's just get it straight. You guys have had a good run as a team, but you have not played us yet as a duos. Sirkill's only ever beaten me by critting max roll with hyper beam. That's the only way he's ever beaten me. Quin's never beaten me. This is I don't know how you're supposed to defeat us in this.
Yeah,
So I guess we'll see.
I'm
We'll
undefeated
see.
against Sirkill.
We'll see.
You're undefeated against Quin. Like this is gonna just be simple.
This is
Pretty
gonna
much.
be. You see, the thing is, Sir Kill is gonna use his power that he used to beat you, Byram, and I'm gonna use my undefeated record versus Adam to beat Adam. That's how this is gonna work.
Yeah. Well, let's see how it is, kid.
Mhm.
You're in the big
Unfortunately,
leagues now. You're in the big leagues with the big boys right now.
you don't realize this. I don't have a mod that's gonna miss Draco for me this time.
Oh,
Absolutely.
you have no idea. We're bringing Zap Cannon and landing every single time.
Yep.
Are you kidding? I'm bringing
That's
Fissure to
cool.
the matchup. What do you think this is? I'm not missing.
Wait a second. That's illegal. Wait.
Yes, bring it, forfeit, win, let's go.
Who does this guy think he is to talk shit to us? I didn't say anything to him. That's so disrespectful.
Oh, God.
Obviously not. Obviously, it's a lot of
Yeah.
love.
Yeah, of course.
Sirkill I've known for forever. When them introduced me to you, and you're one of my favorite people that's joined our server. And that I've gotten to meet, and you guys are wonderful. But this is a different animal, and we'll see how it goes. Best of luck to you boys. Good luck making it out of pools.
Yeah,
We'll
no.
see you guys in playoffs, I
We'll
guess.
see. We'll see. No,
Nah, I'm excited.
we got
Wait,
we
hold
got
on.
plans.
So
We got
we
plans.
started this by just talking by Quinn starting to talk smack to us, even though unprovoked, by the way. But you guys actually were so all jokes aside, you two were the ones who decided to. You guys were cooking this up for a little bit and talking about doing this. Talk a little bit about that process, because this was something that was created by you two for our server to do out of the blue.
Yeah, I'll go with that. So basically, what happened was I've done a lot of duos draft in the past. I've done Uber duos. I've done anything go duos. I've done a lot of duos draft, and I've like duos drafts have been like some of my most like the most fun times I've ever had. Like especially with a partner who like knows how to have fun and is like super relaxed. They're
Mhm.
like such a fun time. Um, so I'm like, so I'm just going through this one day, and I'm like, oh wow, I had a really fun. I kind of want to do a draft. I want to do one, right? I just had an idea, and then I was like, yo, I had a blast learning Red Red because I learned like what new mons do, what this does, what this does, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I like learning Red Red, and I loved it when me and Quinn were just getting called and like cook sets and like make our team, and I was like, wait a minute, there's potential over there. So I sent Quinn a message. I'm like, dude, do you want to do this? Like, I had this idea. Maybe we can like run it as a tournament, not like a full season, just do a tournament. I was like, yo, this is so hype. Let's do it. So like, we got up, we got together. We like got up a tier list pretty quickly. We just moved like using the team tour experience. We moved mons around. I definitely wanted to do 8 mon because I feel like 8 mons are just a lot more like relaxed to do in a tour setting. It's just when you're doing like 10, 11 months for like 3 games, it's a bit more, I would say, hectic. That's
Mhm.
my opinion, of course. And then we're like, oh yeah, so one thing is it will like get more people comfortable into 8 mon because a lot of people in our server are like, like they're new into mons and all that in general.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
8 mon is done like very commonly in the bigger tours. And the second thing is like we can like experiment with Red. Maybe we can see, okay, um with this tournament, like can we allow the 20 pointers? You know what I mean? Because Quinn said he had his biggest gripe was like we didn't have 18 pointers in the team tour. So like okay, maybe we can actually use tours like these to test and see if mons are too broken or too like super underwhelming. So these are like good testing grounds as well. So yeah, that's how the idea brewed, and yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we are, and I was funny too. When I first saw the tier list, I was very angry with both of you because I was the first thing I said was, "How the hell is Mega Kingler banned but Mega Arrow is legal?" That was the first thing I said. But the thing was, I didn't realize it was 8 months. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
I can see it now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah, Mega
Mega
Kingler
Ice.
in Igmon is just like we looked at it like it's impossible. Like the only check I know of that like consistently beats Mega Kingler is Dondozo, and that's about it. But
And
like
you can
Mega
just toxic stall
Arrow
that thing.
exactly, and like Mega Arrow, it seems a little bit more manageable. Like yeah, sure, it is pretty oppressive, but like there's a lot of oppressive bonds, and I do think Mega Arrow is more manageable than a lot of them. One of those being Mega Kingler.
Yeah,
So we were like,
yeah,
allow it. It's fine.
yeah. The thing with Mega Kingler is like one, it's a water steel type, so you actually have like two of the best, like two really good typings there. Like you can use it as a fairy check, you can use it as a cleaner, you can break with it, you can do so many things with it, like so super easily, and you can like obviously use it as a defensive utility for the team. Because one thing about 8mon is that you're very limited in what you can pick, right? You can't pick like everything you want on your team. You can't have like your
Mhm.
fire water grass, your fairy dragon steel, right? Like it's impossible. So you
Yeah.
have to draft more with like, okay, do I have checks for flying types, dragon types, etc., etc. So we felt that Mega Arrow, yes, it's good, but it's gonna be, you'll need to support it like very well with a really good team to like get the most out of it. And it's not like it the roles it mainly will have is like cleaning and breaking. But yeah, that was a logic, and maybe it's too broken, I don't know, and I want to find out. So yeah.
Yeah, this is mostly a test of us being like, doesn't look that broken because to be the kill leader. Because I don't think it's as broken as Mega Pincer. Like after seeing
Mega
it,
Pinsers.
like I've seen these mons in multiple leagues, and
Mhm.
Mega Arrow's never been a kill leader in any of the Radical leagues I've been on. And
Well, at
for
least
like Mega Kingler is like if it has the right matchup, it just wins. So it's like okay, that doesn't seem very fair. And then in one I saw Chandelure being like 19 kills on 10 mon. I was like, this Pokemon is ridiculous, and especially on 8 mon, it's going to be insane. So we moved it from like
we
19
wanted
to
we
20.
want we wanted to see if it's broken, by the way. Like that's like the only reason I allowed it. I was like, I think this might be a bit too good in 8 months. So but let's see how it pans out.
Yeah.
Like so.
Quinn, I find it funny that you said you never seen Mega Arrow lead in kills because every Gen 8 draft that I was ever a part of with Red, Mega Arrow, I remember they allowed Mega Arrow one season. This
Hmm.
thing ran away with the kills lead with well over 20 kills. And I remember having to play the matchup, and I was like, geez, I don't even have like legitimate Scarfers to revenge this thing. And this thing ever DDs up. What are you supposed to
Yeah,
do?
it's over.
And you don't have the stupid like dual wind beat's a great move in general, but like all of its moves normally and its weakness is that it can miss Stone Edge,
Yeah.
Yeah.
dual wind beat, even if it's very
It's
unlikely. But
it's
here,
also weak to a lot of like common priority, like
I
Aqua
yeah,
Bullet
between
Punch,
Bullet Punch,
etc.
Aqua Jet, whatever. I don't know.
I
My
So
think
issue,
that's what makes it more manageable, in my
I
opinion.
think
Yeah, go
that's the
on.
biggest thing I feel like about this format is priority IMO is basically the central thing that defines Radical Red.
Mhm,
Like on all the things I've seen, like so many things get extreme speed, so many things get like Aquajet, like Technician.
mhm.
Like I got swept by a Hisuian Avalog recently because that one is stupidly broken. But
And
so
super
many
strong.
mods having access to priority, it really defines a Pokemon on how you handle that priority. So, like
Yep.
for example, Mega Arrow is just gonna die to like a Technician Accelerock from Hisuian Avalog, right? But then you have Mega Kingler who resists both Ice Shard resists, Accelerock resists, Aquajet resists. Like it resists basically every priority but Sucker Punch. So that makes it really
And Mach
difficult to kill.
Punch.
And Mac Punch it. Oh
And
no,
Mach
wait,
Punch.
it is weak to Mac Punch, but you
Yeah.
get my point though, right? Like like priority is huge in this format. So it really defines a mon on how good it is, depending on how resistant or how good you are against that priority.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you know what's funny, but we didn't really look at the tier list all that much. I remember asking you guys about Mega Arrow, but Dim went to me and he was like, "Yeah, I really want to get Mega Aldino," and I was like,
Yeah, this Pokemon is not
You
okay.
guys should have swapped picks with us. You guys should have
"Huh?
swapped picks with us. I said you guys should have swapped picks with us if you wanted
Oh, if I would
Megaladino.
have them, I think if we would have had their pick and those two were on the board, I think we would have probably done the same thing, right?"
Yeah, no, 100%. We would go Chandelure, Mega Dino, and just watch the world burn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that combo, dude, that combo is so evil. It's amazing how both. I guess in with 12 people drafts, um, and it's a little bit easier for things to fall and for people to get combos like that. You know,
Yeah.
Mega Dino people keep. It's dude. I remember one of the first drafts with this mon I ever seen with it. This thing was like 15 points or something. Like, or actually, one of the first drafts I ever saw, it was like under 15 points. Then they were like, "Oh, this thing's actually kind of good. Let's bump it up a little bit." And then
Hmm.
Abim and I looked at each other when we started setting up the tier list. And we're like, I guess like 16, 17, but we're like, it can't be 16. It was just like too good. It was like, or it couldn't be like under 16. But we're just like, man, this mon is just such a. When the first time I ever used Mega Audino, I think I drafted, it was like Turtonator, Audino, and like Dusknoir were my defensive mons. Everything behind it was like Kartana, Greninja, Ash Greninja, and a bunch of mons like that. I was running Life Orb on everything, which teleported back into them, and then they would just heal up from like 30.
Yeah,
It was like,
that was our goal with the Megaladino because it's like you said, right? It literally can be the solo defensive piece of your team, and you can just draft like a shit ton of offense around it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
on,
insane.
it's
It's kind of
crazy.
like a slow bro if you think about it, right? Like it takes hits, it teleports around and all that stuff. So I liken
Except,
it a lot
yeah,
to that. Yeah.
except this mon could also pass wishes when it teleports.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's a very zero drawback mon, and you know, I think a lot of people try to use like they try to use Audino to check Chandelure to like come in, teleport out. But I think the meta's kind of switched up on that where the meta for that matchup is so funny over the last like few seasons because I think Arlie Quinn was one of the first to bring Rad Red into this draft, like into kind of the ethos of like a lot of people running it right now. Like all the
Yeah.
people we're seeing run this draft, they all came from our server or had our server's influence on their own drafts.
Yeah.
So and it's crazy to see how much it's like popped up everywhere else. But one of my favorites is literally that matchup, Chandler versus Megaudino, where initially it was Megaudino checks it and can teleport out and give you the initiative. Then it became Chandelier started running like taunts bulky sets to beat Mega. Then to
Yeah.
counter that, people were running Megaudino with offensive leg spreads so it could never like so it could break the subs and to beat
Uh,
Chandelier back. And it's
that's
like
so
comical.
cool.
That's like
That's
one of
so
the
cool,
funniest
though.
that's like one of the
That's so
funniest things I've
cool.
noticed over time. Like me, I ran a Chandelier with like it was like it was like substitute lefties, whatever. Or it was like some really defensive set. And it would not have its sub broken, I think, by Megaudino. That was like, you know, minus attack or whatever. I forgot the exact like idea of it, but like no investment Megaudino. And they would always run knockoff Moonblast. So I was like, oh my god, I could just taunt Calm Mind sub on this thing and just gets a +6 if I felt like it. And it did exactly that and it died to Hisuian Avila because I didn't know it got Excel Rock.
God, I hate that Pokemon now. Like, I'm
It's
still so
so it's
sad.
super rad.
My semis run, I had the most broken team in Gumi's league with like
Yeah.
Delphox, Dragapult, Protean, Meowscarada. Like it was an insane team, and Fran had by far the best matchup against me. Like it was such an unwinnable matchup.
That
I
team
mocked.
that team just hard countered so
Yeah.
like Quinn got hard
Yeah.
countered so hard in that game. Yeah, go on,
And
sorry.
the
Big draft
worst part
for your
is I mocked I think like 15 times with Hunky, like trying different avenues and this and that, and I was like, how do we break through this? And then Adam DM'd me like, yo, offensive fortress time. And I mocked with Hunky again with that set and really realized, oh my god, Bandit Fortress is my out. And then I went to play the match, and Fortress died turn 1 to a 4-hit Rock Blast from Bandit. Have a look, and the game just spiraled down, and I lost, and I'm still pissed about that. But you know, copium.
No, there's a ton of fun mons in this format. Like I know some people say, "Oh, Rad Red is just, you know, it's made by fans who just wanted to make everything broken." I think that's a very lazy way to look at it. I think there is a bunch of that for sure, but in my mind, it's a unique way to play with these mons and give buffs to mons. Like one of my favorite things about Rad Red is the low tier of Rad Red. I
Yeah,
think a
the
low
low
tier
tier
Rad Red
red reds are
draft.
so valuable.
I think the low tier, like a low tier Rad Red draft would be so much fun to run, in my opinion. Like I don't care for low tier generally, but Rad Red you get
Mm-hmm.
such amazing value from a bunch of those mons. Like Turtonator's probably like maybe my favorite low tier mon.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
the only
There's so
reason we
many.
That's
have it is
literally that's what me and Quinn said to each other. Like, yeah, it's the low tiers that's gonna make or break this.
dude, they're so good down there. Again, they're not broken in any sense of the word. Like
Yeah.
mons like Dusknoir gets an item that it has hustle in Rad Red, but it also has an item that
Mhm.
doesn't let it miss. So at least you
Yeah.
have something where it's like this month's still slow, still really low HP, and will struggle with things, but you have a legitimate like threat that's still a low tier threat that people would have to prep for, or else it could roll through teams.
Yeah,
There's a bunch of mons like that. You got I mean Quinn, you're in this. You've been doing this for a bit now. Dem and I obviously have done this forever. Sirkill's getting into this now, and we're seeing a lot of. It's a lot of. I think it's a super fun format. I genuinely recommend it to anyone. Even if you lowered the
Yeah.
max points for someone, like so if you cut off at like 18 or 17 or something like that, maybe retier it a little bit. Even if you allowed only mons up to those tiers, I think you could still have a great format with maybe cutting off some of the super broken stuff, but
Yeah.
it's so cool.
yeah. I think the biggest value that makes Rad Red stand out is you can like basically every mon in the board is usable. Like every single Pokemon has a niche that you can like look into the moves. And it's like, oh, Shiftry gets Ceaseless Edge, or
Oh, that was
this.
so cool. We're like, okay, yeah, it checks this. Oh, Wind Rider, that's so cool. We get like, it's like we get a shift gear basically using Wind Rider, and Ceaseless Edge is like just a free click, and they're like, oh, yo, Shiftry stats are like buffed. It's like 120 base attack. Like that's actually a usable attack stat and stuff like that. So yeah, and we were also cooking like Slowbro plus Mega Camerupt as well. We were like, yo, this combination actually can go hard. But then we got like Chandelure, Megarino. We're like, yeah, let's roll with this.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think I have really nothing else to say. We could always talk for hours and everything. Do
Oh
you have
yeah.
anything else?
I have a very serious question. I have to ask Quinn.
Okay.
yes,
So, I I kind of taught you Mons when you first started out and everything in your second draft league. We mentioned it earlier in LVL. Then now
yeah.
Sirkill has been teaching you stuff here and there as you guys run the team tour together. But we have to know for the fans who is a better teacher, me or Sirkill?
So my lawyer says I shouldn't answer this question, but I feel like
I was
I
going.
usually ask both of you because like both of you give me an entirely different angle to prep. So it's like, okay, you say I should run this, and then you say I should run this. So I think
Mhm.
this one's better, and then oh, actually, this one's better. So like Adam gives me Bandit Fortress, and then Sirkill gives me Support Fortress, and I'm like, okay, Bandit Fortress seems like the play here. Or then Sirkill gives me like this crazy set for Mantine Sevi, and it's like, okay, actually, I can use that. So both of you have a very different like approach to prep. So I've kind
Mm,
of like adapted both styles into prep now.
interesting. So what you're saying is I will give you the funny, cool offensive sets, Sirkill with passive sets.
Sirkill. Classic boring Sirkill.
All jokes
But
now.
I'll give him funny offensive sets in the other mons.
Exactly. In the end, I end up
Nah,
with 6 funny offensive mons from both of you.
yeah, no, I think my main contribution, like actual serious, is like I taught him how to do EV spreads. I actually taught the team how to do EV spreads because it's so important. Because you want to know, like, especially defensive mons, like how do you want to invest? If you have
Yeah,
like high base HP and low base defenses, or vice versa, how do you want to get like the best out of your EVs? I am because I am our this is like another funny thing. So it was like the finals. Quin had Primarina, and I saw he was running like Bolt Primarina Assault Twist. I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing? That's literally what I said. I was like, bro, make this modest and just put it in defensive. Yeah, oh yeah, that works. And then suddenly Prim went from like getting destroyed by Gengar to like beating it 1v1, which was so funny.
Yeah. I used to like my EV strategy basically before was just okay. I want all the numbers to end in either 5 or 0. The HP has to be an odd number, and then everything else has to be an exact number. That was my thought process with EVs, and speed, of course, to like speed creep something. But besides that, like attack stat and speed F and defense and all that was just like, okay, how do I make the numbers pretty?
Hey, that's the best way to play.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
no thought process, no calc. I will say, I play like 80% of my games without a calc because I feel like a calc just makes you overthink things. If you're really tryharding, it's good to see if you die to a move. It's like, okay, can I safely switch into this move? Like, does this kill? Should I go for this? Is this worth it? Like, what are my
It's
like
also
in
good.
those scenarios? It's good. But if you're just like turn 1 and you're setting rocks and you're wondering, like, okay, should I calc? Do I die to Excel Rock? Do I die to Rock Slide? Do I die to this? Do I die to that? Do they have this? Do they have Bam? Do they have like you're just gonna overthink yourself to death. So it's just more fun to play without a calc.
Yeah.
Also nice to see if a mon has assault twist. Last.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think this is a perfect way to conclude it. Outside of the fact that Quinn did not answer that question, you'll have to watch the next episode to find out. Who knows
Yes,
if we even
sir.
interview Quinn? But guys, this was a wonderful episode. Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank
and
you for having us. This was a
Yeah.
blast.
Thank you for the invite. I was glad to be here.
all right, bye everyone.
Have a
Bye
good one.
bye.
Subscribe.